Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Quacks podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Dozer, and if you're new to the show, the mission here is to expose the quacks in the marketing industry while featuring some great marketers and entrepreneurs along the way. So on this episode, I'm excited to welcome our guest, Curtis Harkness. Curtis is the Chief Marketing Officer, or CMO, at 3-5 Creatives in Miami, Florida. Curtis, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. I'm super excited to be here, man. I love this setup.
Yeah, so before I dive into the questions here, Curtis and I actually met a few months ago at Damon John's penthouse in downtown Miami at a networking event. So it was a fun event, and I'm glad we were able to connect from that.
Yeah, it was different. I think Damon does a great job of actually giving us access, and connecting. He's a really good connector.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a really cool experience. So let's dive in, Curtis. Give a quick intro on who you are and what you do as CMO of 3-5 Creatives.
Yeah, so I'm Curtis Harkness, like you said, and we are actually based out of New York and Miami. We actually do work in Atlanta and LA also. However, I've been in marketing over 15 years, and when I say in marketing, I've been at almost every level of field and corporate, and now I'm in the entrepreneurial section. This is our seventh year. We just celebrate our seventh anniversary on January 6th. So very excited, and making it 7 years in this industry is absolutely nuts because in the last 7 years, marketing has been flipped upside down.
Seems
So
like it
here,
changes every day now.
oh, dude, ever since the pandemic, it's been absolutely a wild ride, but I think it's fun, and fun in a sense of, we were prepared for some of these changes early, and we actually helped some of our clients that people that listen, to be prepared for it also and to take full advantage. And that's something that, we don't just try to get your social media, get your marketing right. We do our best to help people understand what's to come. Because if you're prepared for what's to come, you might not be where you want now, but when things start to happen, you're ready. And so those people who actually invested in what they were supposed to invest in, we saw 400% returns on a gym during the pandemic. And a gym in New York City in the pandemic, that's like absolutely unheard of. But he was prepared and he put in the work, to get there. So it's really great.
Yeah, no, I love that. Talk a little bit more about, what you guys do at 3-5 Creatives. Are you focused on branding? Is it graphic design? Talk about what you guys offer.
Yeah, so we offer, and I don't like to say everything. I don't like to say we're a one-stop shop. Nobody's a one-stop shop unless you're one of the big four. However, at 3-5 Creatives, we offer strategy, we offer branding, which in branding that entails website design, logo design, brand identities, and then content creation, from whether it's like a docu-series, which we're in the middle of now for a partner, commercials, or social media content. We also
I
do
love
SEO and digital side, but a lot of that comes after you have gotten your strategy, and so strategy always comes first.
Yeah, most people just want to dive in and they don't have a strategy. I agree 100%. So talk about why someone should work with you, whether it's a business or an individual. What's your selling point over the thousands of other agencies out there?
Yeah, there's a ton of agencies, but the biggest thing we do is we help you tell your authentic story. Um, we aren't. We want to make sure that if you come to us with a problem, we actually address the problem and not try to sell you all these other things that you might not need. Now, that might not be the best marketing wise to make as much money. But our biggest thing is if you don't need it, I don't want to push it on you because your money is valuable to you and your time is valuable and so is ours. So we want to make sure whatever we're doing is going to get returns, but at the same time, it's going to help be a part of your journey forward.
Absolutely. No, I love that. Talk about some of your biggest win or wins. I know you mentioned that story with the gym in New York City. You could consider that one of your big wins. Is there anything else that you had in mind when it comes to wins and marketing?
Yeah, I mean, we've been blessed. We had a good amount of wins. One has been working with a major luxury brand down here, actually in Miami. They're located in Miami, New York, LA, a few other places. But however, helping them revamp their actual events, and how we create content to help them promote and upsell, their wellness programs. That was one really big win. And then the other was actually partnering with a few other people and partners in this realm during the pandemic to actually produce a benefit. And that virtual benefit was the first fully live virtual benefit, not like a look-alike where it's just like people sitting at home, they pre-filmed it and it's like way later. We actually worked together, and within 3 weeks, we're able to pull off an idea to design to content created to, and this is not just us, as we did a good amount, but a lot of other partners came in to something where we raised over 1.5, I think $1.5 million for the nonprofit that we were working with. So those are some things from nonprofit wins to hospitality and even like you said, the gym, that was a really big win. And then another one is we can't talk about it yet because they're in funding rounds and all this, but working with a startup tech company that was able to, we were able to do their entire branding, entire pitch deck, and everything. And with that, now they're moving into another round of funding, and we're going to work with them again. And this product is going to come out in the next 3 to 5 years, just because there's a lot of regulations on it to make sure everything is good to go. But it's just something that I love even being at the beginning of a brand to make sure it's done correctly when somebody's done them wrong. And that's something that we were able to do is help them.
Yeah, that's cool. So let's transition a little bit. This is
Let's
one of
do
my
it.
favorite segments, AI. I haven't gone a podcast episode
Ooh,
yet without talking about AI. We had a good conversation about AI, I remember. Talk
yes.
about your experience using AI. How are you leveraging it in your business? Are there some specific AI tools that you're using? Talk about how you leverage AI right now.
Yeah, so AI, a lot of people think is a one-stop shop that does everything for you and you can just put it in there and go. However, you can. And it's something I actually learned from you guys is, AI detectors, which is great for content. So a lot of people in our industry have been using AI just to write canned messages, all the SEO blogs and everything else. Now, we have uh, copywriters on hand in our company. And the biggest thing we use AI for is to see how to be different. Because once we start to scan and see what other people are doing and we start putting it in our AI to say, hey, is this what they did? And we start to see a lot of people are doing it, it really helps us to differentiate ourselves when we create content for our partners. And that is key because Google knows. Google knows, Bing knows, they're all partnered together, they all have AI and everything else. And what they don't want is they're going to make their search engine still gives you the best results. And with that, they're going to use AI to detect people who aren't really knowing what they're doing. So for us, it's been a good way to make sure what we put out is different. And at the same time, it's great, honestly, for training. There's a lot of ways to train our team, and AI has made it easier to train, especially in that, of course, ChatGPT is one of the biggest ones that we use. But the great part of it is training with ChatGPT has been able to help us create the SOPs faster, update SOPs faster, and then making sure team members that want to expand, there's no more boundaries from our team members. Not like, hey, Curtis, I'm in SEO, but I really want to learn more digital marketing and learn how to do, a field campaign with not field campaign, sorry, email marketing campaign. Well, I can either sit down and have to train them myself or our team members, or what we've been able to do is utilize ChatGPT and a few other AI that uh, platforms to be able to help say, hey, this is the basics. Now here's a test one. Go test it and let me know how it works. And they've been able to learn, and that learning empowers them, saves us time and money, and then also we can continue using that in. So that's what we've been really using it for. And then for analytics, which is really great, being able to get multiple readings. Like we do our own breakdown of all the strategy and data we see, but at the same time, check our work. Like our clients and partners don't really understand the data. We do. However, it's like I always want to be on top of it. So we use AI to say, hey, this is our analysis. Let us know if we're off. Now, 90% of the 95% of the time we're right on, but it's great to get some of those extra pieces of info like, hey, actually, we see this right here and you could see that. And some things you just don't see. But it's something that, it can't do the job for you, because it doesn't know our partner, it doesn't know our, our clients, it doesn't know all our methods. But what it can then is really help with like some just like objective data breakdown, and that really helps as we're checking our work because you have to check your work. We're not the end all be all.
Correct. I agree 100%. AI definitely enhances work, but you still need that human element to it to stand
Yes.
out because there's thousands and thousands of AI posts, AI blog posts, AI articles, AI images. So you have to add that human element for yourself to stand out. I completely agree. You mentioned Chat GPT. Are you using Chat GPT Plus?
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
have you dabbled in custom GPTs at all? I'm just curious. You mentioned SOPs. I don't know if you have like custom GPTs you've created for SOPs or whatever other processes
Uh,
that you're working on.
my business partner has a little bit more involvement with that, just because I will be honest, he's the AI brain in our company. And he's was on the forefront of it, a lot of it. He was also on the forefront of like virtual remote work. This was back in 2018. He's like, hey, we need to start doing this. Hey, we need to start implementing these things. So he's kind of been on the forefront of that with like custom prompts and even building out a few custom AI. However, I don't deal with that, so I don't want to speak to it and act like I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
because I'm real. If I don't know it fully, I'm gonna be honest. There's no need
Yeah.
to don't
Yeah.
need to
I
front.
appreciate that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate that. Or have you dabbled in any AI tools for content creation? So image generation,
dude.
video
Actually,
generation, anything like that?
yes, and it was just really for fun, because you can't really use the content. I'll be honest, it's just not at that level yet, but it's great to use for inspiration for some things. I'm like, man, I just don't know how to draw this, and I'm trying to explain it to the my designers, and I go, okay, Adobe has that. I think it's Fire. Is it
Firefly.
Firefly? It's great, great. Let me say great in using for inspiration, not great to create content for posting or anything else. Just being honest.
Yeah,
They're
it's
not
very
there
great
yet.
for simple stuff.
Very simple like this, but honestly, for me, it was like, hey, this is what I'm looking at. What do you think? Now, I would like to use it for helping people who don't know design and like, I just don't know what I want. Okay, great. Give me some keywords, give me some ideas. And instead of us paying a ton of people, like our people, to make a ton of different options, it's like, okay, here's a start with this, especially if they're like early on, they have a small budget, and it's like, I want to help them out. Well, we do a lot of things where we help out small businesses in a way that they can advance. But it's like, hey, we haven't implemented this yet, but it's something we've been thinking about, of like using Adobe Firefly to just create a couple image ideas, and do that. We haven't done it yet. We still use our team because they're just that great. But this is something that for those some of those pro bono cases, things where of nonprofits that don't have a budget at all, and we want to help because we want to give back. At least getting some ideas, and then our designers come in and actually like create a beautiful design. It looks nothing like it because it's like that futuristic look. A lot of times it's very animated. A lot of our stuff comes off, more professional, modern, sleek. So that's something that we've been looking at. We haven't
Yeah.
implemented it yet, but that's something like, I'll be honest, I play with it all the time and use it even for personal, like what I'm thinking, and then I can, figure out on my end.
Yeah, I'll have to show you Dolly 3 or some Midjourney stuff when we get off the episode sometime. I've been dabbling a lot in Dolly 3, and it's great for actually stock imagery and just any evergreen content, nothing that's too specific and need a human element to it. So I've really
Yeah.
enjoyed Dolly 3 and Midjourney. So let's talk about Quacks now. This is the whole point of this podcast, honestly, is exposing the marketing quacks. There's a ton of them in our industry. So let's hear from your perspective, Curtis. What are some marketing tricks or gimmicks that you've seen people do?
That are good or bad?
I mean, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, well, um, I think one thing that has been hurting the industry is people promising SEO without paid ads to get you leads. Um, and to get you leads without creating any extra content.
And I'll say too, all leads are not created equal.
No, no, especially if you're not selling, you know, something that everybody's buying. If you're very specific niche and you aren't, if you don't have a good SEO, you don't actually create content blogs, like not just random blogs, but like you were actually, yeah. And when we met, one of the top people in marketing was like, hey guys, it's not about loading it up with keywords. It's actually about having real conversation, creating value, creating real content. And people don't like to do that because that takes more time. So a lot of these people out here will say, "Oh, you just do SEO." Well, we'll do it. And so when we bring on a client and they've done that in the past, they just think, "Oh, this is." I'm like, guys, it doesn't work like that. We actually have to be intentional. We need to create content. And when they don't want to do that, we've got to the point now where we're just like, okay, cool, no, because all that's going to do is cost us time, and that's one of the big quacks I see, at least in that end. And then the other part is everybody saying they're a full service agency, and everybody knows you're literally outsourcing everything. And it's not a bad thing to outsource some things, but at the same time, it's like, are you really able to do it? And I actually talked to
Outsourcing is
somebody at
not as easy
CES.
as people talked about. You know what I mean?
No,
Like I
they
listen to
make it
outsourcing
seem
with the
easy.
4 hour work week. They make it seem so easy, but if you go to Upwork, Fiverr, onlinejobs.ph in the Philippines, like 90% of these people are horrible. And I've been like burned alive. And like, so anyone that talks about just outsource it is just creating content for the masses. They've never actually like done legitimate
No,
outsourcing, in my opinion.
but that's the thing. That's the biggest marketing quack, to be honest, is anybody on social media saying you can do anything to be successful in 3 steps, in 5 steps, in a year, in 6 months. There's no way you can guarantee
They
success
got a course to
like
sell
that.
you, bro.
Oh, 100%. I didn't buy any courses. We do use a few people for courses, but they never spoke about getting rich quick. It never spoke about this. It's like I use Future. Those guys are amazing. Chris Do, amazing. And then Janda, or Jonda, I gotta say his name. But those two, I'll be honest, have great programs. I mean, they're not like a quick fix. They are all about giving you the tools that you need to be successful. But again, the biggest quacks is people on Instagram like, oh man, 50 ways. I
Or
made a month.
TikTok. Yeah, yeah.
I made a month worth of content in 5 minutes. This is how you can do it and get and people thinking that's social media. I was like, guys, you're now helping them make money because you just download the app and now you're going to use this to build basic content that's not going to get you any traction, and you're just going to be pushing out a ton of stuff. So unfortunately, we've had a lot of, probably about 30% of partners like come out like, hey, can you use this? And which I'm like, guys, we don't want to do that. We want real content,
Yeah, I have people
you
hit me
know.
up all the time. They're like, "Hey Ryan, I saw this TikTok or I saw this Instagram thing, and it's like, can you help me with this?" And I'm like, "Time out, bro." I was like, "Let's talk about how things really work, right?" And you mentioned the SEO thing. Well, as an SEO myself, it takes 3 to 6 months to get anything off the ground. Like any good SEO is going to tell you that. It's not going to be like an overnight like launch a website, get 50 AI blogs, pull up a Google My Business and whatever, and you're off to the races. No, it's a 3 to 6 month sandbox period, is what it's called.
And even at 3 to 6 months is just to get you indexed. So you Google and Bing and all these other people can start to realize that you're real. And people are like, wow, I want to wait 3 to 6 months. I said, well, shoot, bro, you don't want to actually be successful. You didn't get your business off the ground in three to six
Yeah,
months.
keep
It took
wasting
you
time
time
and
to
money on
plan.
all these quacks then. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like then you don't want to pay for ads. You want to go faster. All right, we did the SEO. Now let's continue doing SEO and then pay for ads if you want to go a little bit faster and then push it. But at the same time, once they start to realize you will pay to play, you will always have to pay to play. And that's one thing like that people don't understand. Like, why is my content getting banned? Why is my content not getting this? Because you paid too many times and they know they can get your money. And that's where I'm like, if you create good content, and there's definitely tips and tricks to get around that, in a way of how you do engagement, then you're able to. But that's something that you have to pay to get that
Yeah.
that strategy. But no,
One
it's
thing
something that you have to figure out.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing too, Curtis, and I'll end on this note, is that I think it makes it very difficult for agencies like us when there's more, I would say more than 50% of marketing agencies out there are quacks, right?
Yeah.
They've churned and burned clients, and clients have a bad taste in their mouth now with marketing agencies. So when they approach you or you approach them, they're like, "Oh, marketing agency. I got, bamboozled by these two other marketing agencies. Why would I invest time and money in you?" So it makes it very difficult to be a good agency in my opinion.
Yeah, and the bad taste in their mouth, unfortunately, you have to fight an uphill battle. There's a few that we've stuck with, and the few that I said, hey, let's not dive into this. Oh, we'll do it though. We'll give you a shot. Like, no, because unfortunately, sometimes if they don't have the right heart, then the problem is it doesn't matter what. I don't want your money because what's your money? Like we've had clients that unfortunately think that what we're doing is not good enough. Okay, great. But at the same time, they don't understand that you don't follow any of the processes that we create. You don't follow any of the things that we give you to do, and then you pass over things that aren't done correctly, and we have to try to work magic. And you want, everybody always looks at Nike or like, look at Nike, but yet you don't even take photos like Nike for your shoes,
Right. Yeah,
and that's with anything.
everyone wants a quick and cheap fix, man. I've heard it
Yeah.
enough times. So let's end there, man. Appreciate you having you on the show, and just what are some final notes that you have for anyone listening about content creation or marketing advice?
Uh, be authentic. Don't just do what everybody else is doing. Utilize AI to give you inspiration, but don't utilize it to do your job. And yeah, just talk to people. That's the biggest thing. Stop trying to just do everything digital. Go talk to somebody, and that's my biggest key.
I love that. So where can people find you online?
They can find us at 35creatives.com. Also on Instagram at 35creatives. And then if you want to see more things from me directly, which I'm actually ramping up my own, which is great. I'm a host and MC. You can find me at REEL_LYFE_Curtis. Real life Curtis. I will be changing it, but I do want to max out that real life Curtis. But I'm excited. Thank you again, John, for having me here, man. It's been
Yeah,
amazing.
no, it's been fun. Appreciate your time again. So again, thanks for everyone listening to the show, and catch the next episode here in the near future.